Anyways, before we begin, if you guys enjoy this type of content, we're gonna be posting more. We're changing our Patreon to more of like a spiritual, the spiritual part of mindful attraction, the mindful part. I do talk a lot about it here, but we're specifically gonna be talking about more direct content because some of you guys are interested in the spiritual content, but they don't get that many views. So we're using my Patreon as more of like the spiritual aspect of mindful attraction. So for $5 a month, you guys can watch it. There we're gonna be having Zoom meetings once or twice a month, where we're gonna be doing meditations, and I'm gonna be talking about certain subjects, and you guys can ask me whatever questions you guys want. So once or twice a month, we're gonna be doing Zoom meetings. Okay. So let's begin with this video. All right. So well, there's a lot of people here. How many people are here? More than I expected, actually. Okay, I can't count this. All right. So can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep, we can hear you, Papa.
I'm here,
Yes.
by the way. This is really me. It's not an impersonator. There you go.
Say, Lexus.
Yeah, it's me, man.
Baby. Sorry.
Yeah. Is everyone in America?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Cool.
No.
No?
London over here.
Oh, nice.
London. Nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love your accent. Thank you. It's so beautiful too.
So
Aw.
who doesn't have experience in meditating here?
What? I didn't hear you.
I mean, like, who doesn't have experience in meditating? Like, who's new to it? Nobody here?
I do.
Oh, okay. So someone's new. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know if you guys, most people meditated before, and the way I meditate is a little bit different than most people. It's a different way of doing it. It's the same path, but same destination, different path, right? What I believe about meditation is that meditation, I like to see it in a very logical way. Some people give spiritual explanations. It's whichever way allows you to understand the concept, right? Some people understand it more spiritually. Some people understand it more logically. I'm explaining the logical way and the spiritual way, which is meditation is simply putting awareness to your sensations. For example, imagine that you're watching a beautiful scenery, right? But then imagine that, actually, people go on mute, by the way, because I hear random stuff, okay? And then imagine that you're watching this beautiful scenery, but then you're thinking about something that happened in the past, right? And because that thought and because that image in your mind, that image of the memory is so intense that a lot of the times you notice you're looking at the world, but you're not even focusing on nothing, right? You're just like daydreaming, like you're looking at it, but you're not really looking, right? And the reason why that is because you're so in your head. And it happens like unconsciously. You know how when you notice that you're in a dream, right? You don't know how you got there, but you realize you're dreaming. You're like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. A lot of times we go in our heads and we realize, oh my God, I'm not even aware of what I'm looking at. I'm hearing the birds, but I prefer to hear my thoughts over the birds. I'm seeing the tree, but I prefer to see the image that I'm seeing in my mind that I cannot control because of something that I didn't let go. So what tends to happen is that when you're in your head, you're not aware of your senses. You're not really receiving all of the stimulus. In other words, you're receiving the stimulus, but it's almost like cholesterol, where your senses are clogged up and you're only receiving a minute amount of what you're actually experiencing. And so that's why a lot of people feel lifeless, simply because they're not really fully experiencing life. Experiencing life is not about having many experiences. It's simply about experiencing whatever you're experiencing to the fullest. When you're able to do that, peace naturally arises. And let me give you an example of this. Imagine that you're somebody who was deaf, couldn't see, couldn't move. Right? And all of a sudden you wake up and now you can see colors for the first time. Now you can see things moving for the first time. Now you could breathe. Now you could move. Now you can hear for the first time. What's going to happen is that it's almost like the first time you have sugar. The sugar is so intense, it gives you such a rush of dopamine that you feel like energized, right? It's the same thing where you come to this world, you're like, oh my God, a tree. Oh my God, look at that. Why? Because you're taking everything in. Your senses are so they're not used that they're just waiting for anything. So they're sucking all of the experience in. It's almost like when you're really thirsty and you drink water and you, without even knowing it, you drank the whole bottle of water, right? It's the same thing that you're taking in so much of the world that it brings joy to you, right? So that's this concept that meditation is opening up the apertures of life, the apertures of your senses, because most of our senses are constricted because we're so in our heads. Remember, the more in your head you are, the less aware you are of your senses, right? So meditation is all about removing awareness from your mind. In other words, imagine when you're daydreaming, you realize you're daydreaming, and then you're like, oh my God, I wasn't even listening to the professor. You heard your professor, but because you were daydreaming, you weren't really processing. So you become more alert, and now you listen, right? That extra alertness is just you going from, oh my God, I'm in my head. Oh, what I gotta do tomorrow. Oh, blah, 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 to your senses. Let me hear what's right now. Let me hear the sound of the refrigerator. Let me notice the different colors in the room. Let me feel the clothes on me. Let me breathe the scent in this environment. Let me touch something. Let me acknowledge the being. Let me acknowledge every object's existence. What you're doing is that you're just expanding your apertures. So meditation is simply practicing removing conscious energy that's been trapped by your mind and has created an identity out of it and bringing it to your senses. That's all you're doing. You're taking the energy that you give your mind and you bringing it back to where it belongs, into your senses. And when you do that, peace naturally arises because every second is new. Every second feels alive. It's almost like ASMR. When you're listening to ASMR, you hear everything, every syllable, every movement of the mouth, even the saliva, everything, every sound. It's almost like time slows down for the voice, that you hear every purr of the person as they talk. It's pleasurable. And it's almost like ASMR, but for all of your senses, where whenever you pick this up, you put so much attention to picking this up that you feel everything. Then when you drink it, you put all of your awareness to drinking it. That is almost like it's the only thing that exists. And then when you sit, you put all of your attention to sitting because that's all you're doing at this moment. And when you're breathing, you put all of your attention to the breathing because that's the only thing you're focusing in this moment. Now the problem is this, is that it's easier said than done for a lot of people because you forget to do it, right? That's the issue. Is that you guys understand the concept mentally, but you will only really understand this concept through experiencing it. Intellectualizing it will not do you any good, right? If you want to intellectualize it, go to a philosopher and they'll teach you how to understand it. But this is only understood through experience. It's almost like telling somebody who's paralyzed, how do you move your hand? How do you move your hand? I can't do it. I can't just tell my hand to move and you just say, I don't know, I just move it. But how? I don't understand. I'm like, you can't understand it. The only way to understand it is just to actually do it. You can't. You just do it and it happens. Look at this. Like, even you don't understand how this shit fucking happens. It's unbelievable, to be honest with you. Like, it kind of trips me. Like, how am I able to do this? Like, anyways. So, yeah, that's a silly thought. That's a little, yeah. So, yeah. So, that's the whole point. So, the way to do it, all right, one sec. The way to do it is to bring conscious awareness to the body. So the meditation that we're going to be doing is simply feeling the body from within, right? Because it's the whole goal of it is to actually feel the whole body. Because what happens is that when you feel the whole body, that takes up so much of your attention. I mean, that literally takes up not an effort attention, but just in awareness. Like, just, it's almost like saying, how far can you see, right? How far can you see, right? That's what I mean. I mean, all the whole body, you'll be able to feel it vibrate. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna start one part at a time. First, you feel the fingers, right? And then you go back and forth, and then you feel each hand. You go back and forth with it, and what happens is that you say to yourself, "Feel this hand," and then feel this hand. Like, and all you're doing is just saying, "Let me feel this hand more," and then you go to this hand, you feel it more, and what happens is that it's almost like a distraction. In other words, it's an exercise that without you even notice it, you're not going to be thinking, because your attention is just going to be in the body. Thoughts are not going to arise. It's just, you're just going to be aware. Okay, this one. That you're just going to be aware of the movement. That thoughts don't come. They just won't arise. All right. Give me 1 second. I gotta send this link to somebody. Okay, it works. All right. To somebody who supposed to join. I guess they didn't get the link. 1 second. There you go. All right. So we're gonna practice that right now. Does that make sense? Like, the whole concept of meditation, that is simply bringing awareness to the body, because the body is always in the present moment. Your thoughts are things that have multidimensional. They could travel through time. They could go in the future and in the past. The body cannot. The body is just purely in the present moment. It's almost like it grounds you. The mind, it moves, it goes places, it travels, and that's the beauty. But it's a force that we have lost control over. Like a dog that has control over its owner because the owner is weak, right? Your thoughts have completely controlled you. What we're teaching here is that by you just feeling the hand, now you have the choice when to think. You have the choice when to pick it up and when to put it down. And because you don't use it as often, because you are conscious, you're conscious, you're not unconscious, you're not letting your thoughts control you. When you do think, it's actually of higher quality. It's more sharper. The ideas are better. And in fact, your mind actually, it feels like it flows a lot better because you're not thinking compulsively, right? Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to join these Zoom meditation sessions, and also there you guys can ask me questions. And that's, again, like I said, we're converting that to the spiritual part of mindful attraction, where we're just going to be talking about more spiritual topics on there. All right. So if you guys want to support that and see those videos, go there. We're going to be doing meditations together, having little Zoom calls and stuff like that, where you guys can ask me questions, and there's a bunch of other benefits. Okay. All right. See you guys there.